optimistic hope, right? The big question, are we alone?
And we've built our whole cosmic future around that hope. Peaceful exploration, shared knowledge, all these grand ideas.
But when you actually strip all that away, the fiction, and just look at the cold, hard facts, it gets a lot more chilling.
It really does. The universe is ancient. We're talking billions of years old. It has trillions of stars. And just by the numbers, life should be everywhere. I mean, not just life, but sophisticated, intelligent life. It should be common.
Absolutely. The math practically screams it. And yet, what happens when we point our best telescopes or best instruments at that darkness?
Nothing.
Complete and total silence. And that's the Fermi Paradox right there. Given all that time, all that space, why is it so quiet? Where is everybody?
Well, the silence itself is the data. That's what we have to work with. And the explanation we're diving into today from our source material is maybe the most unsettling answer ever proposed, the dark forest theory.
And it suggests that space isn't quiet because it's empty.
No, it's quiet because every civilization that survived is hiding in absolute species-level terror.
Okay, so that completely flips the script. The cosmos isn't a playground for us to explore. It's a landscape of cosmic horror. So our mission today is to really unpack the logic of this theory step by step. Why would silence be the only option?
It's the ultimate survival rule, the only one that matters.
So let's start with the metaphor itself, the dark forest. This idea, it was really popularized by Lou Stickson's novel, The Three-Body Problem, and it paints a very different picture of the universe.
A very different picture, yeah. You have to forget all the star maps and the sci-fi dreams of peaceful federations. According to this theory, the universe is a deep, dark, primeval forest.
Right.
It's incredibly vast, it's dense, and you can't see what's moving just a few feet in front of you.
Every civilization, including us, is what? A hunter in this forest.
A silent hunter.
Yeah.
Exactly. You move in the dark, you listen, and you follow one single non-negotiable rule.
Never make a sound.
Never, ever make a sound. The silence we hear from space isn't peace, it's prudence. It's the sound of every single successful civilization following the one law that guarantees survival.
So if we don't hear anything, it just means everyone is following the rule. And if you break that rule, if you make a noise.
You've just announced two things to every other hunter in the forest. First, that you exist. And second, and this is the critical part, exactly where you are.
And once your position is known, there's no talking, no diplomacy.
There's no time. There are no pleasantries. The only logical response is action. Because any other life form you discover is, by definition, a potential existential threat.
That's where it gets really dark. It's not about good versus evil or, some kind of cosmic imperialism. The theory argues that hostility is a mathematical certainty.
It has to be. It's not about morality. We have to move past philosophy and look at the cold game theory of it all across galactic distances.
Okay, so let's break that down. The first big factor is what the sources call the chain of suspicion.
Right. And this all comes down to the problem of intention, but scaled up to a cosmic level.
What do you mean?
I mean, think about it. Across hundreds, thousands of light years, you can never, ever truly know what another civilization is thinking. Are they peaceful? Are they hostile? What if they just need the resources your planet has to survive? You can't know.
And because of the vast distances, because of the speed of light being the ultimate speed limit, you can't afford to wait and see.
You absolutely cannot. Let's say Civilization A discovers Civilization B, 500 light years away. A sends a message. We come in peace.
That message takes 500 years to get there.
Exactly. B gets it. Maybe they debate for 100 years and they send a reply. That's another 500 years for it to get back to A.
So you're at, what, 1,100 years just for the first hello?
Right. And Civilization A is now making a life or death decision based on information that is, at a minimum, 500 years out of date. In that time, B could have changed completely.
So trust is impossible. It's statistically irrational.
It is. Because the cost of being wrong, of trusting that a potentially hostile civilization is peaceful, is total annihilation. If you wait and you're wrong, you get wiped out before you even know the diplomatic messages were a trick.
So mutual suspicion forces everyone to assume the worst, always.
It's the only logical move in a cosmic zero-sum game. Security is everything.
Yeah.
And if dialogue can't guarantee it, then preemption is the only thing that can.
But wait a minute, does that mean that even two genuinely peaceful civilizations, if they found each other, they'd be forced to try and destroy each other, just because neither one could risk the potential that the other might not be friendly?
That's the tragic and seemingly inevitable conclusion of the logic.
Yeah.
If you can't trust them, and the time delay means you can never verify their current status.
Mm.
The only winning move is to ensure your own survival.
Mm.
But there's a second factor that really locks this terrifying logic in place.
Okay.
The technological explosion.
This is about how fast technology grows, right?
It's about how unpredictably it grows. I mean, look at us. We're still technically a Type 0 civilization, burning fossil fuels. But our own history shows that technology doesn't grow in a straight line. It's exponential. We could discover, I don't know, a unified fuel theory tomorrow.
And a civilization that looks primitive and harmless today
Okay.
could suddenly have a massive breakthrough and become an unstoppable threat overnight.
That is the danger. If you're an ancient, super advanced civilization, you can't just look at a new species and say, oh, they're harmless, we've got a million years, because that harmless species might crack fusion next century, and then warp drive, and then a planet killer a century after that.
So security isn't just about eliminating current threats, it's about eliminating potential threats before they can ever become actual threats.
Exactly. It's an unbelievably aggressive security model, but it's built on the sheer volatility of scientific progress.
Yeah.
You just can't predict when that exponential leap will happen.
So you can't wait.
You can't wait for the threat to mature. The only rational, survival-based conclusion is that if you find another life form, you must neutralize it before it gets the chance to neutralize you.
And that necessity playing out over and over for billions of years is why the universe is so quiet.
The silence we observe is the result of that law being perfectly enforced. Everyone who made a noise, everyone who wasn't careful enough to hide, they've been purged.
So the quiet isn't emptiness, it's a graveyard.
It is.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the most uncomfortable part of this whole deep dive. If the number one rule of the universe is stay hidden, what have we, humanity, been doing for the last century?
Oh, wow. We haven't been quiet at all. We've been shouting.
That is what this theory calls humanity's fatal mistake. The source material details how our accidental broadcast started over 100 years ago. High-power radio, TV signals, military radar, all of it leaking out into space.
Creating this bubble of noise with Earth right at the center.
An expanding bubble traveling at the speed of light. But we didn't stop there, did we? We didn't just leak noise by accident. We started making noise on purpose.
META, messaging extraterrestrial intelligence.
Exactly. We aimed powerful, directed beams at specific star systems. We sent messages with information about us, our biology, our planet's location. From the Arecibo message back in the 70s, all the way to projects happening today.
We've basically been waving a giant sign that says, hey, over here, we're new and don't know the rules.
And when you put that into the context of the dark forest, where any sound is a potential death sentence, it's not just a mistake, it's an act of spectacular species-level recklessness.
There's an analogy in the source material for this, isn't there?
There is, and it's genuinely unsettling. It says we are like a small child lost in a dark forest, screaming at the top of its lungs.
And all the predators are just listening.
The child has no idea that a deadly game is being played all around it. It thinks the forest is empty, but the silence is just highly effective camouflage.
We are a civilization of optimists who stumbled into a cosmic horror story. We've given our position away, violating the single most important rule of survival.
And out there, where tech is unpredictable and trust is impossible, that century of broadcasting isn't an invitation for a friendly chat. It's a target, a self-painted bullseye.
We gave away our location, and now we just have to hope none of the silent hunters were listening in our direction.
This whole deep dive just forces you to rethink everything. The universe is silent, not because it's empty, but because it is full of life. Life that is absolutely deadly afraid of being found. The silence is the sound of hiding.
We wanted an answer for the silence, hoping it meant we were special or maybe that life was rare. But the dark forest theory gives us a much scarier answer.
We're not alone. Everyone else is just hidden. And humanity, tragically, just gave away the map to our hiding spot.
So if the universe really is a dark forest and we've just been screaming for 100 years, the provocative thought we want to leave you with is this. If we finally find out that the predators did hear us, what knowledge specifically are we desperate not to discover next?